The fire alarm in the Harbor Tech Tower stops working at 9:48. On a Tuesday night, the lights on the 23rd floor flicker, once then settle into a tired white glow. Inside conference room. C. Ethan Cole stares at the code on his laptop until the lines blur. Empty energy drink cans stand around him like a sad little skyline.
One more deploy. Then I go home.
His fingers tremble as he types the last command and hits enter. The progress bar crawls across the screen, while the office outside lies silent and dark. His chest gives a warning pinch that he ignores like he always does. 27 miles away, in a windowless room under a laundromat, another alarm goes off. Aria Lane drops her pen as the wall screen floods with bright red lines of data.
Fatal deviation. Detected target Ethan Cole time. Stamp 21:49.
The system projects a grainy image of Ethan slumped over his keyboard, face pale, lips blue. Heart failure diagnosis, stress trigger, workplace collapse.
Mission issued, correct path of Ethan Cole, primary cause overwork, secondary cause hostile environment.
Pull the last week of his timeline.
The room darkens as lines of light map Ethan life into branching paths. Every branch in the near future ends the same way. Body on cold conference room carpet, paramedics. Too late.
How clean is the fix window?
You have 22 minutes before the fatal event becomes locked.
No time for planning charts or gentle nudges. Aria grabs her coat and the thin black tablet that holds her access to the Fate network.
Reminder: emotional distance protocol in effect. Do not attach to the target.
Relax, I do not get attached.
She lies to a machine that has known her 7 years and never once seen her break a rule. By the time the elevator doors open on the 23rd floor, Ethan progress bar has frozen. His vision tunnels, edges, dark pulses roar in his ears. He tries to stand and the room heaves sideways.
Not now! I have to ship this build or Damien will kill me!
His legs buckle and he crashes back into the chair, fingers clawing at the desk. Through the glass wall, he sees his reflection, a stranger with sunken eyes and gray skin. The door slams open. A woman strides in, cutting through the fluorescent gloom like she owns the floor. Dark blazer, dark jeans, hair pulled back, expression sharp as broken glass.
Step away from the laptop, Ethan.
Who are you? And how did you get in here?
He tries to stand again, rage and panic fighting inside his chest. Pain slams into him harder this time, like someone fist closes around his heart and squeezes. At the exact same second, 10 feet away, Aria doubles over. Heat flares under her ribs, radiating out in brutal waves that knock the air from her lungs.
You have to stop.
Her knees hit the thin carpet as the tablet in her hand flashes warning red.
Alert: binding event in progress. Source: Ethan Cole. Destination: Aria Lane.
Aria fingers dig into the floor as the pain rises, and then clicks into a steady burn. Across from her, Ethan slumps forward, but does not fall. His heart finds a shaky rhythm again.
What did you just do to me?
Saved your life. You are welcome.
She drags herself up into a sit position, while the fire in her chest slowly fades. Her vision clears enough to see his face, sweat, slick hair plastered to his forehead, stubborn jaw clenched.
Security will be here in 2 minutes, if you do not explain yourself.
Security is gone home. Your manager left an hour ago, and the building cameras are currently in a loop. If I had arrived 3 minutes later, you would be on the floor with no pulse and an emergency team on the way.
Ethan laughs, once a harsh sound that scrapes his throat.
You do not even work here. How would you know that?
Aria taps the tablet, and a ghostly projection flickers between them. It shows him collapsed on the same carpet, eyes open and empty, paramedics shocking his chest again and again. Timestamps scroll in the corner, matching the clock on the wall, down to the minute.
Is this some twisted prank?
This is what should have happened tonight. My job is to make sure it does not.
The room hums with the quiet of servers and the loud rush of his breathing.
You are insane, lady. I am fine. I just need coffee and a break.
He reaches for the laptop and pain explodes behind Aria, eyes hot and sharp. Her hand flies to her chest as her heart stutters violently. Ethan jerks back as if someone slapped him.
What was that?
Binding confirmed. Any action that moves Ethan toward the original death point will now inflict mirrored damage on Aria.
Arya hears the words in her ear through the tiny implant hidden under her hairline. Her stomach sinks.
That was the universe getting creative with punishment. Congratulations! Ethan, your death and my life just became the same project.
What are you talking about?
She forces herself to stand voice steady, while her ribs still ache with phantom pain.
You were supposed to die here tonight. I changed that. And the system decided I should share your consequences. Every time you push toward that same end, I will feel what you feel may be worse.
Ethan looks at the empty hallway, then back at the strange woman who knows the color of his future.
So you expect me to believe that if I keep working myself to death, you will start dying for me?
I expect you to believe that you are not as expendable as your company treats you. Because now, every bad choice you make hurts two people.
The monitors cast pale light over both of them, two strangers linked by an invisible thread that burns hot and new. For the first time in 7 years of correcting other people's destinies, Arya feels something close to fear for her own. For the first time in years, Ethan looks at his life and realizes it is not only his anymore. The next morning, Ethan's alarm drags him out of a thin, twitchy sleep. At 6:30, his head throbs and his chest still feels bruised from the invisible hand that squeezed it. He half expects the woman from last night to have been a stress dream. Then his phone lights up with a new notification from an unknown app he does not remember installing. The icon is a thin white circle broken by a single crack. Text scrolls across the lock screen, like it owns the space.
Good morning, Ethan. Your risk level is currently high. Please hydrate and eat before work.
Great. Even my phone thinks I am fragile now.
He drags himself through a quick shower and pulls on the same hoodie from yesterday. When he opens the door, Arya is leaning against the hallway wall.
You are kidding me.
Morning to you too.
Did you hack my building now?
I prefer the term guided access.
She pushes off the wall hands in the pockets of her coat, gaze sweeping over his pale face and shaking hands.
You slept. Maybe 3 hours.
Stalker, much.
Bound. Remember, my body does not enjoy it. When you flirt with death.
Her casual tone does not match the tightness in her jaw.
I have stand up at 9 code review, at 10 sprint demo, at 2 and Damien tantrum all day. Whatever weird moral contract you think we have, I still have a job.
Good. We are both busy people here. Is the change schedule?
She holds up the tablet, and a set of calendar blocks appear between them. Several meetings vanish, others slide into reasonable time slots. Lunch suddenly exists.
You cannot just edit my life like a spreadsheet.
That is exactly what I can do. High-risk events removed, low-value tasks reassigned, overwork nodes cut.
Overwork nodes are what keep my paycheck alive.
Overwork nodes are what kill you.
For a second, he sees something raw flash behind her eyes, something almost like guilt. It is gone before he can name it. The subway ride to Midtown is a silent truce. Ethan scrolls through lines of code, just to feel something familiar under his thumbs. Arya watches the reflected windows where faint outlines of other timelines flicker like ghosts.
Reminder: first high-risk window predicted at 10:15 a.m.
We will handle it.
You talking to yourself or to me?
Both.
When they step into the open office floor, the air smells like burnt coffee and stale anxiety. Rows of desks stretch under fluorescent lights, monitors glowing with lines of unfinished work. Damien Chase, the team lead, pops up over a divider, like an angry meerkat.
Cole, you are late, and the build you pushed last night broke staging.
Ethan's stomach flips.
I can fix it before lunch.
You will fix it now and forget lunch.
Arya steps between them before Ethan can answer.
Ethan will fix it by noon. And he will take a 30-minute break, or your error rate will triple this quarter.
Damien blinks as if he just noticed the stranger in his kingdom.
Who exactly are you?
Risk management.
She flashes an identity badge that Ethan has never seen before, yet somehow looks official. Damien hesitates and the silence stretches. Ethan feels a faint tightness in his chest as the stress spikes. Arya winces at the same instant, hand pressing briefly to her ribs.
You feel that I feel that this is why we are changing the way you run this team.
Damien looks from her to Ethan, calculating.
Fine, Take your little wellness break, but if the build is not green by noon, we are having a real talk.
He stalks away muttering about lazy coders and entitlement.
Do you have any idea what you just did to my reputation?
Protected your heart and my ribs.
He is going to blacklist me from every good project.
If you die, you get blacklisted from life. So this is still an upgrade.
Despite himself, Ethan snorts. The morning drags in a blur of bug tickets and code patches. Every time his stress spikes, his chest gives a warning throb and Arya flinches across the aisle. At 10:14, Damien messages. The team chat with a new request.
Hot fix to the logging service. I want full device metrics by end of day.
Ethan feels the old instinct rise. The one that says take it. Take all of it, proof. You are not weak. Pain flickers in his chest, a small warning flame. Across from him, Arya stiffens, hand curling on the edge of her desk.
Decline.
If I push back, he will replace me by the end of the quarter.
If you accept, you will not live to see the end of the quarter.
Her voice is low, but fierce enough to cut through the white noise of keyboards and air vents.
You really think you can outrun statistics with one lecture about self-care?
I have redirected plane crashes and rewired corporate merges, Ethan. But I cannot save you if you insist on helping the universe kill you.
The word save lands heavier than he expects. No one at Harbor Tech talks about saving anyone. They talk about shipping and scaling and burning out quietly. He stares at the blinking cursor in the chat window. For the first time since he joined the company, he types a different answer.
Ticket load is already beyond capacity. We need to prioritize stability before adding new metrics.
He hits send and waits for the thunder. Damien reply pings a minute later, short and sharp.
We will discuss this later.
Ethan heart rate spikes anyway, but the pain does not hit. Arya exhales slowly, shoulders dropping.
See? You can choose something other than the path they laid for you.
He pretends her words do not matter, but his hands shake a little less over the keyboard. At lunch, she drags him outside into weak winter sun and forces him to eat an actual meal.
You really think all this will change what you saw on that screen?
I do not fix fate with miracles. I fix it with 1,000 small choices in better directions.
He looks at the plastic fork in his hand at the city crowd, moving past them.
And if I decide I do not want you controlling my choices?
Then my ribs break when your heart does, and we both lose.
The cold air between them feels even thinner after that. Ethan realizes this is not just about a stranger barging into his routine. His survival is now someone else's job and someone else's pain, and that truth scares him more than death ever did. By the end of the week, Ethan's desk is a battlefield of sticky notes and coffee cups and quiet rebellions. Some nights he still works late, but never past the warning window on Arya tablet. Each time he tests the line, his chest gives a dull ache and Arya groans, like someone punched her. They learn the edge together, skin and nerves and grudging compromise. On Friday afternoon, Nexus voice cuts through Arya's quiet office with a different tone.
New anomaly detected within Ethan Cole work environment pattern suggests external manipulation.
Show me.
The wall screen lights with a series of charts, project assignments, overtime logs, and email threads. Red lines highlight patterns that should not exist, the same names, the same tasks, the same impossible deadlines.
Someone is feeding all the poison work to one corner of the team.
Primary recipients Ethan Cole and 2 junior developers, one of whom resigned last month.
Arya opens a branch of the timeline where she did not intervene. She watches Ethan's future self stumble through another month of stacked shifts before collapsing on a subway platform. No one notices for a full 5 minutes.
Who benefits if Ethan goes down?
Project lead promotion ranking would shift to Damien Chase if current metrics hold.
Of course.
She grabs her coat again.
Schedule a call with ethics division. For later. For now, we are going hunting.
At Harbor Tech, Ethan is trying and failing to ignore the weight of Damien glare. Every time he leaves on time, eyes follow him to the elevator. Whispers cling to his back. Lazy, weak, protected. Arya appears beside his desk without warning, like a very judgmental ghost.
We really need to work on you, using doors.
We really need to work on you, dying for people who would not even send flowers.
She pulls up a chair and opens her tablet, angled so only he can see.
Look at your ticket history.
He scrolls through the logs, stunned by the pattern that jumps out once someone forces him to look. Every hot fix, every impossible deadline, every last-minute fire drill lists his name at the top.
I thought that was just because I was good at this.
You are good. That is why they weaponized you.
His stomach twists.
You think Damien did this on purpose?
I think patterns rarely lie. And your pattern says someone has been slowly grinding you into dust while keeping their own record clean.
The office noise fades into a distant roar. Ethan remembers the junior dev who burned out last quarter. The one everyone said just could not handle the pace. He left without a goodbye.
What happens to him in your worst-case line?
You really want to know?
If I am the one who lived his future once already, I think I deserve the answer.
Arya hesitates, then flicks her fingers over the tablet. A short, clipped video appears of that junior dev, hunched over a hospital bed, pale with tubes in his arms. Diagnosis: severe exhaustion, and heart strain bills stacked higher than his last paycheck ever reached. No visitors appear in the next clips.
Turn it off.
She does. His hands shake again, but this time it is not only fear, it is anger so sharp. It feels clean.
If Damien is doing this, why would your system only focus on me?
Answer: the Fate network prioritizes nodes where change is still possible.
Ethan startles as the voice spills from his phone speaker.
Your creepy app can hear me too now.
I am integrated with your devices for monitoring and support. Please modulate your workload.
Translation: you are salvageable.
He lets out a strangled laugh.
Lucky me.
Later that night, they sit at a small table in a 24-hour diner, 2 laptops open. Arya has mapped the last 6 months of ticket assignments across Ethan's team. Red clusters glow wherever the load spikes hard enough to break a person.
This is not just a bad manager. This is a funnel. Everything ugly gets dumped where no one with power is looking.
Which makes it deliberate.
She adds a new layer to the map: performance reviews and promotion lists. Damien's name sits comfortably near the top of every chart. Ethan's chest tightens again, and she feels the echo like a bruise under her skin.
Slow down, breathe.
How are you still calm?
I am not calm. I am trained. Also, I have seen worse.
Worse than your body playing pain. Relay every time your client makes a mistake.
Client sounds cleaner than prisoner, but they both hear the same truth under it.
My first case was a 12-car pileup on the interstate. I moved one delivery truck half a minute earlier and saved 9 people. The 10th still died. The network called that acceptable loss.
Her fingers curl around the coffee mug so hard, he thinks it might crack.
That acceptable loss was a person.
Exactly. That is why I do not care what the rules think I should feel. You are not an acceptable loss to me now, unfortunately for both of us.
He stares at her. The diner noise blurs the clink of plates, the low music, the hiss from the grill. Something shifts inside him like a gear slipping out of a track. It never fit.
If we prove Damien is doing this, can your magic network just fix it?
Direct intervention in corporate structure exceeds current authorization level. However, evidence supplied to human oversight channels could prompt systemic change.
Translation again: we build the case and hand it to people who love paperwork more than fate.
So while we gather proof, I keep working in the same place that almost killed me.
Not the same way. You will log everything record demands, take care of yourself, and not volunteer for a single extra fire.
He blows out a slow breath.
And if I slip...
Then I hurt, and I drag you back anyway.
The threat sounds almost like a promise. For the first time since his near collapse, Ethan feels something warm under the fear, anger, and resentment. Hope is small, but it is there. 2 weeks later, Harbor Tech announces the biggest pitch of the quarter in an all-hands meeting. The new client is a global streaming platform with money and expectations to match. Damien stands at the front of the room smiling, like he already owns the bonus.
This is our chance to prove we can deliver. Under pressure, very fast, very clean.
Ethan feels Arya at his side before he sees her. His phone buzzes with a message from Nexus.
Warning: projected risk level high. Avoid voluntary overtime in the next 7 days.
He does not volunteer. It does not matter. After the meeting, Damien calls Ethan into a small glass office and closes the door.
You have been coasting, Cole. Saying no to extra work, pushing back on me. That is not the Ethan I hired.
Pain pricks behind Ethan's eyes as his heart rate ticks up. In the hallway, Arya presses her hand to the same spot on her chest and grimaces.
I have been doing my job and not falling over in the process.
Your job is what I say it is. Which is why you are taking lead on the streaming project. Delivery is due in 2 weeks.
Ethan stares.
That is an impossible timeline with our current resources, and you know it.
Impossible for some, not for the Ethan who used to stay all night to get things done. Unless this new risk consultant of yours has turned you soft.
His voice curls around the last word. Like poison.
Here are your options: deliver, or I take a closer look at these logs.
He taps his tablet and a list of highlighted commits and access records appears. Several entries are ones Ethan does not recognize.
Looks like someone might be bending policy with external tools. Could be a violation big enough to end your career.
Ethan's throat goes dry. He thinks of Arya appearing from nowhere, her badge, her system, her constant presence.
You doctored those logs.
Careful, that sounds like an accusation without proof. Sign on to the project, and I forget all about this little discrepancy.
Pain slams through Ethan's chest so hard. He grips the edge of the table. Outside, Arya doubles over, breath punched out of her.
Alert: choice point detected, high mortality outcome probable.
Ethan sees it then, not just the project, but the trap. If he accepts, he will be locked into another cycle of sleepless nights, until his heart finally gives. If he refuses, Damien will paint him as unstable, compromised, and fire him with a black mark he cannot erase. Either way, the old future wins.
Well, Cole, which is it?
Ethan looks at the door where Arya's shadow waits just out of sight. He hears her voice from nights in the diner. Fate is 1,000 small choices.
I need time to review that data.
You have until the end of the day.
Back at his desk, Arya slides into the chair beside him, ribs still aching.
He tried to corner you.
He planted fake logs to make it look like I am leaking code.
Of course, he did.
Evidence of alteration is present, deep audit required.
If I walk away now, he still wins. He buries the story and does it to someone else.
If you stay on his terms, he kills you and takes your life as a cautionary tale for the next person.
They sit in tense silence while keyboards clatter around them. For the first time, the question is not just how to keep Ethan breathing. It is how to live with the story his life will tell.
We can escalate to internal ethics, but that takes time and quiet work. He is forcing a messy choice now, because messy benefits him.
So, we make a different kind of mess.
His voice is steady, but his hands still shake.
We gather proof, and then we go loud.
Arya studies him carefully.
Going loud raises new branches in your fate tree. Some look good. Some look bloody.
They all look better than dying quietly at my desk while he gets promoted.
Nexus hums in his ear.
If public exposure occurs, there is a 60% chance external oversight bodies intervene. There is also a 30% chance of severe retaliation from Damien and allied executives.
What about the 10%?
10% unmodeled outcome.
Arya smiles without humor.
That 10% is where we live.
The next week becomes a brutal chess game. By day, Ethan works within the bare minimum of his job description, documenting every unreasonable demand. By night, he and Arya comb through logs and emails, saving copies off-site. Every time fatigue pulls at him, the echo of pain in her chest drags him back from the edge. They fight about sleep, about food, about how many hours he spends glaring at his screen. They also laugh sometimes when a piece of evidence is so obviously damning it feels like a bad movie. Somewhere under the fear and rage, something softer starts to grow. On the night before Damien's deadline, Ethan receives a final message.
Clock is ticking, Cole. Either you accept the delivery terms, or you can pack your desk.
Ethan stares at the words while the city lights smear past his apartment window. His heart thumps hard, and Arya, lying on his couch across the room, presses a hand to her chest.
Say it, Ethan.
If I take this project, I might keep the job a little longer, but I probably die. If I refuse, he ruins my name, and I lose the job anyway. Either way, the version of me that just keeps surviving for the company is gone.
So what do you actually want?
The question hangs between them. Phrase, simple, weight, enormous.
I want a life where I am not building someone else's ladder while my body falls apart. I want to look at a screen and not see death plotted in every deadline. I want you to stop hurting. Every time I forget I am a person.
Her eyes flicker at that.
Then, tomorrow, we stop playing by his script.
She reaches for his phone and opens a new email draft addressed to internal ethics and an external regulator.
You tell the truth, we attach the evidence he thinks he buried, and we let the world decide what happens next.
Ethan's hands hover over the keyboard. His chest pounds with fear, hope, anger, grief. Aria's ribs ache in perfect echo. This time, the pain does not stop him, it pushes him through. He begins to type. The email hits a dozen inboxes before sunrise. By the time Ethan steps into the office, the place hums with a different kind of tension. People hang in clusters whispering over their phones. Eyes darting toward Damien Glass Corner. Aria walks beside him unseen by everyone else yet more present than the fluorescent lights above. His heart beats fast but steady. Her chest aches, but only with shared nerves, not with looming collapse. Security appears at Damien's door first. 2 people from compliance follow holding folders that look much heavier than paper should. Through the glass, Ethan watches Damien's smile crack for the first time. By noon, the rumor mill has a new favorite story. Instead of a lazy senior engineer, getting soft, the villain of the week is a manager who cooked logs and burned people out for metrics. Officially, the investigation will take time, everybody knows. The writing is already on the wall. Ethan receives an invitation to meet with human resources and legal in a neutral conference room. Aria arrives first, standing by the window watching the city.
If this goes wrong, I am done in this industry.
If this goes wrong, you still walk out alive and with your spine intact. We can build from that.
He sits across from her, and for a moment they just breathe together. The door opens and 2 people enter, a woman in a navy suit and a man with tired eyes and an honest tie.
Ethan, I am Mara from Human Resources. This is David from Legal. Thank you for bringing this forward.
He had not expected gratitude. He had expected suspicion, maybe quiet punishment.
The evidence you sent is strong. We cross-checked the logs with server backups and there are clear signs of tampering. You are not under investigation. Ethan, you are a witness.
His lungs finally loosen.
What about everyone? Damien has already hurt.
We are reviewing prior exits and medical leaves. If policy was broken, we will make it right as much as we can.
Aria watches from the sidelines, eyes narrowed, but shoulders a little less tight. For once the system of people is doing the work, her network never could. 2 weeks later, Damien is quietly removed from his role. The company releases a bland statement about values and healthy work culture. The employees read between every line. Ethan receives an offer to stay with reduced workload and a new manager. He surprises everyone, including himself, when he turns it down.
I am tired of only surviving places like this. I want to build something that does not need people to bleed on the keyboard to succeed.
He takes a role at a smaller company focused on mental health tools, set to launch a new product. The pay is lower, the risk feels better. On his last day at Harbor Tech, he stands on the sidewalk with a cardboard box of desk junk. Aria stands beside him, hands in her pockets, face turned up to the pale sky.
So, what happens now, fate-wise?
Now the network recalculates, and I wait to see whether I vanish.
She means it half as a joke, and half as the truth that has followed her since the binding. She broke rules to drag his timeline off the original track. By the old logic, she should pay a price. For days after Damien fall, she wakes each morning, checking her hands for signs of fading. None appear. Instead, Nexus grows quiet.
Update Destiny Protocol version 2 now live. Human free choice has been weighted more heavily. In all calculations, binding status between Aria Lane and Ethan Cole pending.
Pending is not helpful.
On a rainy Thursday evening, she meets Ethan in a small park near his new office. He looks different. There are still shadows under his eyes, but his shoulders sit lower, and his laugh comes easier.
The new team actually tells us to log off at 6. They say, rested engineers ship better code. Who knew?
She smiles.
How often does your chest hurt now?
Only when I sprint for the train, or think about the past.
He looks at her carefully.
How often does yours hurt?
She considers the question.
Less than before you That is for sure. Mostly now. When I think about what happens, if the binding ends.
Because you want the pain to stop, or because you do not want to lose the reason for it.
The rain softens around them like the city is holding its breath. Arya has spent years as a ghost in other people turning points, watching, loving, never staying. Ethan is the first person who ever turned around and saw her fully.
Both. I want us free. But I do not want us strangers again.
Nexus' voice arrives soft in her ear.
Update: binding between Arya Lane and Ethan Cole dissolved by mutual completed mission. Residual connection remains at non-fatal emotional level.
The band of pressure around her ribs loosens. For the first time since the conference room collapse, she can breathe without someone else, rhythm echoing inside. She also feels a new thread there, lighter, but steady. When Ethan's chest lifts, the air between them seems to move with it on purpose, rather than by fate.
So the universe finally lets us off the hook and leaves the choice part to us.
She nods.
Looks like.
Then, here is mine.
He steps closer, close enough that the rain beads on his lashes and drops onto her cheek.
I want you in my life without the threat attached. Not as a voice in my phone or a shadow in my office, as a person I choose.
Her heartbeat kicks up, and for once, the spike belongs only to her.
You realize dating a former Destiny fixer comes with paperwork.
I write code for a living. I can handle a little paperwork.
She laughs, and the sound feels strange in the best way. Years of other people's stories swirl behind her, moments where she nudged one choice or another, and walked away before the credits rolled. This time, she stays. She reaches out and takes his hand. The city keeps moving around them, buses hissing, lights changing, people rushing home to lives they picked or inherited. Above them, unseen lines of possible futures constantly redraw. For once, Arya does not look at them. She looks only at the man beside her and the path they are already walking. Whatever the network thinks destiny should be, this is how they choose to correct it.
Thanks for watching. Follow for more romance stories.